guys, welcome to today's video. Today I am giving my November update. I'm going to talk about how our homeschool month went, what we were doing, some curriculum changes, updates, and then any plans we have for December. If this is one of your first videos, my name is Ashley. I am a homeschooling mom to 3 kids. I have a 6th grader, 4th grader, and kindergarten, and this is our 4th year of homeschooling, and I also do work full-time, so I have kind of a different element than most homeschool parents. We also just moved our family cross country. We moved into our house earlier in the month of November, so we've only been here for a few weeks, and so it's been really nice unpacking, getting everything back into some sense of normalcy. So let's talk about how November went. So homeschool wise, the beginning of November, we were not doing our normal curriculum because we were in the midst of moving, and so I decided to purchase a couple units from Gather Round. Gather Round is super easy because you can purchase them online, download them, you can print them yourself if you have a printer, or send them out to be printed. So I bought 2 units and had them printed at the local Office Max. I bought the family bundles, so Gather Round teaches like one subject or like one theme of all subjects except math, and then it breaks it into different age level groups. So we did 2 units. The first unit we did was the 2024 election unit. It was a very mini unit. It was only 2 lessons meant to be worked the day before the election and the day of the election. It just kind of explained very specifically who was running in this election, some of the different viewpoints of the election, and the electoral college, which I think is really the most important part of teaching kids about the way US elections go. So all 3 of my kids participated in that unit, and they really enjoyed filling out the electoral college. It was a nice little activity to do. The unit was really not that in depth or anything crazy. I do think that Gather Round has like a government type unit that I'm sure would go much more into government and the elections and just the American government and things like that, but it did its purpose. I think it was only around like $5. So that is what we were doing the first week, as well as I purchased a full unit from Gather Round. We purchased their artist unit. The artist unit obviously covers art. That is the main theme, but it does cover all subjects except math. So it covers language arts, science, social studies, history, all of those things. And I bought the family bundle, and when you buy the family bundle digitally, you get access to the teacher's guide, which is what you need as the teacher, and then all the different age level workbooks. So this was the first time with Gather Round that all 3 of my kids were working on different age levels. So my oldest was doing the middle school, which I felt was perfect for her. My 4th grader was doing upper elementary, which again, perfect age for her. And then my son, I really wasn't sure what level to put him in. He's learning to read, but not fully reading yet. And so I was in between pre-reader and early reader. Again, I was looking at these units on my phone, so it's really hard to tell. I went ahead and printed the pre-reader, and to be honest, really it's all just coloring pages. So he has been doing great sitting with us doing those units. There is a lot of reading on the teacher part. There's probably about 3 to 4 pages of like what I read in the lesson, and then they go into like their student workbooks. He normally just uses his coloring page to color while I'm reading that. If there's any like videos I choose to play or supplement, he'll watch the videos, and then he's pretty much done. There really wasn't too many activity pages for him at that level. So I kind of was like, maybe I should have done early reader. I don't know. We'll see if we continue using Gather Round units. I may try the next one at that early reader level for him. I am really enjoying the artist unit. Sometimes the teacher portion in Gather Round can just be a lot. You're just like reading so many things, especially when I look back at the history units. You're just reading so many events and people for 4 pages. So you're reading for, 30 minutes to an hour straight. And then your kids have all these activities that are supposed to be based off those 4 pages you're reading. So I've always said It doesn't feel balanced to me. I think it should be broken out different. Like, I think the teacher should read like a page, and then the students should have like an activity that goes with that page. If not, certain topics, it just is like information overload. The artist one, I didn't feel that way. I did not feel like I was reading way too many things for my kids to keep up with. They obviously, it's lighter topics. We're talking about art, famous artists, different types of art, and my kids have not had any issues like sitting there listening. They've really enjoyed this unit. It is very art heavy. Obviously, it's the theme of art, but that's why I picked it. I needed to add in some of that art elective type stuff, that fun stuff, and I have a child who's extremely into art, so it's super easy to grab her attention in this unit. So that one worked well. So we got through, I think, about 7 lessons, and there's 20 lessons total. Then we kind of were in our moving phase into our current house, and then I unpacked all of our curriculum, and my kids were just ready to jump back into their normal curriculum. So the curriculum my oldest daughter uses, they use the same curriculum with just different levels. So they both use Saxon Math, and then they both use Moving Beyond the Page for language arts, science, and social studies. And then they have handwriting. They're both continuing to learn cursive with Zahner Blosser. So those are what we started the school year with, and that was our plan to continue. We have the entire year packages that we've purchased, and so we just kind of jumped right back into those. What is nice is our schedule has changed, where when we were still in Vegas, we had family there. My mother-in-law was super active in our homeschool. She was the one who took my kids to all the co-op activities and events, and it was a very active co-op. So at least 2 full days a week, my kids were gone at co-op activities. So Mondays and Fridays, my kids were not home at all because they had co-op classes and events both days. And then there was also activities throughout the week. So we were only schooling 3 days a week, and even those 3 days would be challenging because one kid would have an event at like 10 in the morning, another kid would have an event at like 2, and so I felt like we were constantly struggling balancing schoolwork with all the activities. So as much as my kids liked that and they were very active and living their best lives, it was very challenging, and you will see me in like previous updates, like just, you know, it was very difficult to get through school. I was doubling lessons a lot to try to get through stuff. Our school days were a little bit longer because we would have to pack more in. Well, now we don't have a co-op. We don't have a mother-in-law to take my kids places. So, and I work full-time and my husband works full-time, like normal work hours during the week. So none of those activities or events that my kids want to go to can happen during Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, we'll say, during that schedule. So that has almost been a blessing in disguise because we can really just like slow down and focus. I'm not competing with all these other activities and things. So we are doing school Monday through Friday. And what's nice is we don't have to have such heavy school days anymore. We can spread it out a little bit more. So how I've adjusted our schedule is Monday through Thursday, we're doing all of our subjects, all of our core subjects. And then Fridays, we're going to continue doing math. Most Fridays we'll probably do math, and then that's when we're going to do our units. So we will save Fridays to do our family units together because we really like doing units, but those are very hard to add in when you're doing other structured curriculum and if you're not schooling 5 days a week. So I'm excited for the new schedule. My kids have been spending about 2 to 3.5 hours doing school. Well, I'll say my daughters, depending on their coursework that day. My son is about 30 minutes a day. For my kindergartner, he's had the most changes. So one thing we've kept strong is the Good and the Beautiful Math K. Right now it's working for him. It's straight to the point. He's very quick at learning math, so there's not much I'm doing on my part. I will say that, well, you guys know this. If you follow me, I just am not a fan of the Good and the Beautiful, most of their curriculum, to be honest, but really not their math, especially knowing what happens in the next levels. So at this point, just so you guys know, I have done the Good and the Beautiful math for K, first, second, third, and 4th grade. So I've seen all 5 levels. I know how they teach math. I know how it progresses, and I'm not a fan. There's a reason we stopped using it. And the only reason I started with my son is because I just didn't know kindergarten wise. I like Saxon math, but I don't think Saxon is good for kindergarten. So it's working. I am probably going to switch him to something else as soon as he's done with this one, but whatever, it's fine. It's doing what it should do. For language arts, I was looking for something that would work. Logic of English was the most recommended resource, and I had been looking at Logic of English. I just got super overwhelmed like on their website and looking at their teacher's guide. I just thought it was like way too teacher intensive and way too much, but we are about 6 lessons in, and I did buy the online supplement, and I'm loving this curriculum. It is not overwhelming, it is very simple, and it is teaching the basics, and that is what my son needs. He needs the basic foundation for both language arts, learning to read, and handwriting. So where I really like the Danielian handwriting method, and I do think long term that's a good program to use for handwriting, I don't feel like they did enough of the basics of learning to write. It was literally like do a couple movements and then start writing full-blown numbers and letters, and there wasn't enough practice. Where Logic of English, he's like learning like just a slanted line like 2 days in a row, like just draw a line, just draw a line, but they're telling him this is going to be the base of 5 letters you're going to learn to write. And so they're really breaking it down. We have like these cards that are like sensory cards where it has the exact like shape he's writing, but he can feel it with his finger, which has been really well. I love their online lessons. So pretty much if you get the online supplement, it's really not like a supplement. Supplement to me means like it's an addition to, but really if you use the online portion, it's teaching the exact lesson you would teach. So it's working great. My son is liking it. They're short, to the point. So between math and that, he's done with school within 30 minutes. We do some add-on things. Sometimes he'll watch his leapfrog videos. We'll do some extra things that we have, but keeping it simple and to the basics is working best for us. And so that is what we're going to continue doing with him. And then on Fridays, he'll join us for whatever family unit we're doing. So overall, curriculum's going great. There was only that one big change I made with his language arts to the Logic of English, and that is working absolutely fine. So yeah, everything's going really good. I'm excited to do our units on Fridays. I have another unit that should be in my mailbox soon that I'm excited to share with you guys. That will be starting in the beginning of the new year. As far as December, we're not taking a ton of time off for the holidays. I do think I gave us a couple days during Christmas week off, if not the whole week off. I'll have to look at my schedule. Because we took such a big break off and we really don't have much going on, like no family is traveling here. We're not traveling for the holidays, so there's no reason to not do school. We are not doing any type of like Christmas or holiday unit that I'm planning. I just feel like, we need to get in a flow, and I do feel like when you try to switch in units, it can be disruptive, especially for us. Like, we haven't been in that great of a flow because of everything else, so I don't know. We'll see. If we can get the artist unit finished up before, then we may do like a mini Christmas thing. We'll see. I'm not like holding myself to anything. I may find some like fun Christmas theme worksheets on Teacher Pay Teachers, just like little brain warm up type things that may happen. I did buy a couple Christmas like picture books on Book Outlet, even though I said I'm not going to buy any more books. That didn't happen. So I have a couple Christmas books coming that we'll read together, and that's pretty much it. But I am excited. I had fixed my entire Homeschool Planet planner. Well, not fixed, but needed to update it. So I got all that done, and I can kind of see like how curriculum is flowing through the rest of the year. There's a lot of curriculum that we're on schedule, and we're going to be finishing before the end of our school year. So whenever that happens, that's when I start adding in more units and things like that. So I am hopeful. It's looking good. Yeah, I think we're on track to have a great year. The kids are adjusting very well. I know a lot of you have asked how the kids are handling the move. They're fine. There's really nothing I can say. I will do a more in-depth update probably like 6 months in. It's still very new. We are still all adjusting and getting used to stuff, and the kids are starting to get now busy with activities. So where all their activities used to be like during the week, during school hours, here in the city we live in, it's a smaller city. There is homeschool groups and co-ops, but they're small. They only meet during the week, and that's just not going to work for my schedule. And so we are just reverting to like what you would do if your kids were in traditional school. They are doing activities that start later in the day. So my oldest daughter does volleyball 3 days a week. She has Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. So Wednesdays and Fridays, I believe her practice is from like 4:30 to 6:30, and then on Sundays it's like from 1 to 3. So she is busy 3 days of the week just with volleyball. And then my two youngest are doing gymnastics type classes. For right now it's once a week because of just how the season is. Another season starts in January, and they're going to be bumping up to twice a week, each of them. So that is just kind of what our schedule is looking like during the week. Husband and I are working. Kids are doing their curriculum in school, and then we have all the activities either after school and work hours or on the weekends. So we're adjusting well. I don't see us joining a co-op here. It's not going to work. I know a lot of you say, oh, it could work. It can't. I am a working mom. I cannot leave during the day to take my kids somewhere. And it's just not a huge homeschooling group here that would meet up like on the weekends or later in the evening. That's just not the culture here to do that. So we're fine though. Like I don't feel like I'm missing that. I feel like my kids have already made friends in their activities, and it's just how it's gonna be. All right. So I think that is my November update. Plans for December. If you guys want me to make any specific videos over the next few months, if you want me to show a curriculum more in depth, days in the lives, please leave that down below in the comments. I am planning out all of my content as we speak, so any of your recommendations are appreciated. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Have a great day, and I hope you all are having a great holiday season. If I missed you, happy Thanksgiving, and have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.